So I don't typically do these kind of videos. I'm just not like a TikTok, Instagram person. I prefer to watch than to make videos. But there's a topic very close to home, and that is about my friend Ashlee Janae.
Hey guys, listen up. There's a fresh update in the Ashlee Jenae case, and this one really came out of nowhere. One of Ashlee Jenae's closest friends just stepped forward and started speaking out, and she didn't hold back at all. She shared a lot about Ashlee, trying to clear up all the false stories floating around online, and some of what she said is seriously turning heads. Now, I'm about to show you the video in a second, but one of the wildest claims she made is that they were actually in love.
There's a lot of talk about her around on the internet, and as someone who's known her since about 2021 to 2022, everything that everybody's saying couldn't be further from the truth of who she was as a person. And it's bad enough finding out and having this be the way that I found out about Ashlee and everything that she's been through.
Yes, that part right there shocked a lot of people. And on top of that, she said we shouldn't be blaming the fiance so quickly. She even suggested it could have been someone at the hotel, which adds a whole different layer to this situation. I know some of you are already side-eyeing that statement thinking, no way, not buying it. I get it, because it sounds unexpected. But she also went deep into shutting down rumors about Ashlee, like those claims about her being an escort, being controlled, or all those other stories spreading online that just don't add up. So let's really get into this and break it all down, because there's a lot being said. Stay open-minded while watching this, even if some parts feel hard to believe.
But it's almost traumatizing to see how people talk about her in the midst of this devastating loss. I'm just going off script, but the goal of me making this video is for me to kind of explain to you who she was, because while the videos where people are assuming what happened to her, or assuming it was her partner, or assuming things that they don't know.
All right, where are we at? Come on, load up. It's coming. It's coming. Look at her, such a beautiful young woman. Hold on, let's keep it moving. Quick pause before it starts. Savannah Britt, Ashlee's best friend, the one who really brought major attention to this case. She said that. Do not donate to ashleejenae.com. As sad as it sounds, that site is being run by a scammer who managed to grab her domain name, and that's just wrong. The real GoFundMe for Ashlee Jenae was set up by her father, and it's clearly linked in her official profile and Linktree. If you're going to support, make sure it goes to the right place. I've donated, many others have too, and people are continuing to give, especially with legal costs stacking up.
You guys aren't even spelling her name right in half of these videos. You guys aren't even pronouncing her partner's last name right in half of these videos. And you guys create videos with so many opinions where you're 10 toes down on what you're saying. And it's hurtful to the family who knew her. It's hurtful to the friends that knew her. It's hurtful to her family. It's hurtful to anybody who's trying to get a genuine update that loves and cares about her, because she was a phenomenal person.
We'll circle back to that part later because there's more to unpack. Right now, let's get into what her close friend actually said, because this is where things start getting intense. Now listen, this needs to be said clearly. I understand she's hurting, and I understand everything she's saying is coming from a place of love. That part is real. But at the same time, we have to look at the full picture, especially when it comes to this man she's talking about. You don't truly know they were in love, and that matters. And I'm saying this with respect. Don't let emotion blur what might actually be reality. Let's just say, for the sake of argument, that he had nothing to do with what happened. Just think about that for a second. If someone truly loved you, how does it get to the point where there's an argument so intense that people have to step in and separate you? Reports already mentioned that things got heated. So even in the best case scenario, imagine the weight of that moment.
She was a fucking phenomenal person. Excuse my language. I don't know if I could post it like that, but she was a phenomenal person. She was funny. She was a girl's girl. She would make sure you got home if we went out drinking. She was about black women. She was about her black people. So all this stuff about her being with a white man, okay, that's who she chose to be with. You guys are pulling up messages from back in 2011, 2013, when she was still a child. She's worked hard for where she is.
Picture loving someone, and the last interaction you had was filled with anger, raised voices, and tension that got completely out of control. The things said in that moment, the actions that led to that separation, all of it paints a picture that can't just be ignored. And even if everything he's saying is true, think about the emotional impact that situation had on her. It clearly shook her deeply to the point where she was struggling in a serious way. Now imagine carrying that memory, knowing that the last time you saw her, the last words exchanged, were in the middle of a heated argument that went completely left. So ask yourself this: what does someone in love actually do in a moment like that? Do they wait 11 hours before contacting the family and say everything is fine, everything is stable, and then suddenly go silent?
Just because you can't relate to her doesn't mean you should dehumanize her, right? We are already talking about dehumanizing people across the fucking world in genocides, but we dehumanize this person because they don't live a lifestyle. Hold on. Because they don't live a lifestyle that you agree with, or they both loved each other. I don't know what happened. I don't know what went wrong, but let's allow the police to do their job.
Because according to reports, that's exactly what happened. The communication stopped, and then the hotel had to step in and notify her family about what really went down. Let that sink in for a second. The woman he claimed he wanted to spend his life with, his fiancée, and it was the hotel, not him, that delivered that devastating news to her parents. That doesn't line up with how someone in love is expected to act. And it doesn't stop there. Does he seem like someone grieving? Because people noticed he was active online, even switching his profile picture on social media. That raises questions. Suggests he still had access to his accounts, even if his activity was being watched or limited in some way. Then there's this part that really hits hard. The man she loved has the financial means, yet her family had to start a GoFundMe just to bring her home from Tanzania and lay her to rest. That's a painful reality. I understand. You knew Ashlee personally, and others didn't. You also knew Joe in a way the public didn't.
For the police to do their job instead of jumping to conclusions. Let's think about this for a second. Let's play this hypothetical theory, this game. The same way that the entire internet is showing hate, envy,
True.
jealousy,
True.
at this beautiful, successful black woman
True.
and her age gap successful partner. Because mind you, Ashlee was also doing her own thing. She had her own life outside of Joe. They added to each other's lives. Consider that.
But based on everything being said and everything unfolding, it's fair to ask, how well was he really known? Because Joe, in my opinion, is not moving like a man who just lost the person he planned to spend his life with. That energy just isn't there. And if something truly happened that was out of his control, you would expect a completely different reaction. But anyway, let's keep this going. Once again, we're seeing that her fiancé hasn't stepped up to help bring her home, and that raises serious questions. People can say they were in love, but actions speak louder than words every single time. And like that famous saying goes, once you remove everything that couldn't have happened, whatever remains, no matter how unlikely, has to be the truth. That idea hits hard in a situation like this. Right now, nothing about his behavior is lining up with someone who is heartbroken or devastated. It just doesn't match what most people would expect to see.
We don't know what happened. I'm not
True.
saying that he didn't do it. I'm just saying allow the cards to play out, because if he didn't do it, then not only are you guys dehumanizing Ashlee, whose life was taken away from her potentially, but then also the man who, I'm sure, if he had no hand in this, he's grieving terribly, and he's gonna come to the conclusion, look how much his life is ruined when it was supposed to be the best experience of his life. What I'm saying is we don't know. Let's not.
But let's keep moving forward and look at the bigger picture. Nobody is rushing to wild conclusions here. People are asking real questions, the same kind of questions that should be coming from those closest to her. This isn't about creating stories. It's about trying to understand what really happened. Yes, there are people online spreading ugly and disrespectful narratives, and that's not right at all. And it's clear her friend is speaking from emotion and loyalty. But even with that, it's important to point out that authorities are still looking closely at everything. He hasn't been cleared, and they're still waiting on official results. So it makes people wonder, why defend Joe this strongly right now? Ashlee is the one who lost her life, and the focus should stay there. At the same time, the amount of harsh and hateful comments directed at Ashlee and her memory has been disturbing to see, coming from all directions. Disgusting. I agree with her on that part. There's clearly jealousy, hate, envy, and a whole mix of negativity being thrown around, and it's ugly to watch.
Now consider this. All this envy and hate in the world, what if somebody's seen this beautiful chocolate woman being proposed to by her older, very wealthy partner? You've seen that picture of her feeding the giraffe with those evil eyes watching her, the same way that I see the evil eyes on the internet condemning her when she's a victim, potentially.
But here's the real question. What does any of that have to do with Joe? Why is his name getting pulled into defense mode like this? Why does it feel like he needs protecting right now? Let's be real for a second. Joe is fully capable of speaking for himself. He's reportedly got serious money behind him, so he doesn't need anyone stepping in to fight his battles. And yes, Ashlee brought value into his life too. No question about that. People even say she helped elevate his image in a major way. And speaking of money, quick question. How do you actually verify if someone truly has wealth tied up in crypto? Are people just supposed to take that claim at face value? That part alone raises eyebrows. But anyway, let's keep this moving. No, seriously, come here for a second. Let's talk about this. What are we really saying right now? Because Joe is not moving like someone who is grieving a deep loss. That's the issue people keep circling back to.
I knew Ashlee. I didn't know her to do something like this. So I might be leaning more into something happened to her. But this is all speculation.
Anything but Joe.
From the person that I knew her to be. This isn't like her. She's not one to put up with someone mistreating her. So I don't know. I just know that you guys know less than I do, and I've known her for years.
Why did her parents have to set up a GoFundMe to bring her home? Why isn't he stepping in financially if he has the means? Why hasn't he been more visibly involved in helping her family during this devastating time? And the biggest question, why didn't he personally reach out to her family with the truth about what happened? People keep saying, what if he's innocent? And sure, that's always a possibility. But at the same time, the situation still feels off to a lot of people. Even authorities changed their stance, first saying he was free to go, then taking a closer look after speaking with hotel staff and waiting on official findings. That shift alone is raising serious concern. Now let's be honest for a second. I understand wanting to speak up for your friend, I really do. But the way this is coming across, it almost feels like pro-Joe messaging, and that's what's throwing people off. That's where the confusion starts building. Let me put it like this. All of my friends have partners, husbands, boyfriends, long-term relationships, and from what I've seen, they seem like solid guys. I respect them. I think they're good people. But at the same time, I don't know them on a deep level like that. I'm not studying their every move or staring them down trying to figure them out. It's just normal distance and respect. But let something happen in one of those situations and the partner starts acting strange or out of character. That changes everything instantly.
I know of Joe. I knew personally. I knew Ashlee. And all I'm saying is that a lot of questions are up in the air. Don't blame anybody because for all we know, it was hotel staff that separated them. What about that? Jealous eyes, they separate this beautiful chocolate woman who's about to live her dream life. and her fiance, and then she goes up dead? Who's to say that it was Ashlee? Who's to say that it was Joe? What if it was the hotel staff?
Now, questions need answers fast, because at the end of the day, you were the closest person to her in that moment, and that puts a spotlight on you whether you like it or not. So now it becomes about accountability. If you didn't do anything, then you should be doing everything possible to clear it up, talking, cooperating, helping piece things together, whatever it takes. Because from the outside looking in, silence or strange behavior only raises more suspicion. And let's circle back to this idea of wealth. People keep saying he's very wealthy, but how do you actually know that? Is there proof, or is it just something being repeated over and over? Because that matters more than people think. Right now, it feels like all the sympathy is being directed toward Joe, like poor Joe, while Ashlee is the one who lost her life. That imbalance is what people are reacting to. And look, her friend is absolutely right about one thing. The way the internet has treated Ashlee in some spaces has been completely out of line. No question about it. That part deserves to be called out loudly. But at the same time, defending one side so strongly while so many questions remain, that's where people start to feel uneasy.
We don't know. Stop blaming people when you don't know what happened. Give them a chance to investigate. And remember, innocent until proven guilty. Stop shaming people. And Ashlee was a great fucking person. Stop trashing her. You don't know her. You never knew her. Stop being so depraved. The only thing that's stronger than hate is love.
You really think this could be an unsolved situation and the first move is to disappear on her parents and try to leave the country again? That doesn't sit right at all. If that was someone truly in love, you would expect noise, urgency, action, calling for answers, demanding justice, making sure her name is heard everywhere. Instead, it comes off like he just quietly slipped away, and that's what's raising eyebrows. Now, she did post messages showing she knew Ashlee, and I'm not questioning that. I believe she cared about her. I believe that bond was real. But when it comes to speaking on Joe, it feels off. Why step in like you're handling PR for him? He doesn't need that kind of defense right now. Don't save him. He don't want to be saved. That energy is exactly what people are picking up on. And yes, she brings up possibilities. Maybe it was hotel staff. Maybe it was something else. But at the same time, there are other details people can't ignore. You're talking about jealousy and outside attention, but then there are moments being pointed out, like how he was acting even before everything happened. At the end of the day, nobody publicly knows the full truth yet, and that's important to remember. But authorities clearly believe something isn't adding up because he's still being held while they wait for official results. That alone keeps this whole situation under a serious spotlight. So now it's a waiting game, and people are watching closely to see what comes next. Drop your thoughts below because this conversation is far from over. Make sure you like, subscribe, share, and comment to stay locked in for the next updates.